Hi, 7th grade. Today we are doing lesson 3.5, solving two-step equations. So the first thing I need you to do is go get graphic organizer number, what is this one? This is number 4. Okay, so go grab graphic organizer number 4. You can pause the video while you go get it. And when you have it, you're going to write at the very top of it, 3.5, solving two-step equations. Remember, you can always pause this video if I go too fast. I'm recording it quickly so that you guys can have this for class today, but also know that you can pause it and write things down, okay? So when you have your graphic organizer, the first thing I need you to write at the very bottom is this. To get the variable by itself, when there are two things happening to it, do the reverse order of operations. Now, that'll make more sense when we're doing examples. But here's the order of operations, right? Order of operations says parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition, subtraction. Well, if I'm doing the reverse order of operations, that means I want you to start with your addition and subtraction and work backwards, okay? Like I said, that'll make more sense in a second. If you need a pause to write that, please do. But I'm going to go back up here for a second. For the definition today, I need you to write down two-step equations just means there are two things happening to x. So we talked a lot this week about how to get the variable by itself. To get the variable by itself, you do the opposite of what's happening to the variable, okay? Now, when there's two steps, it just means there are two things you have to get away from x. The first example I want you to write down is this one. Negative 3x plus 5 equals 2. I'm going to go ahead and erase my the writing that I have down here just so you guys don't get confused with it. Okay, negative 3x plus 5 equals 2. Erase this, it's down here. Okay, so there are two things happening to my x right now. First of all, it's being multiplied by negative 3. It's also being added to 5. Down here, I had you write that you're going to do the reverse order of operations. Now, normally, order of operations says to do multiplication first, then the addition. But not this time. We're going to get rid of the addition first, okay? How do I get rid of negative 5? Well, I subtract negative 5 from both halves of the equation. Those would then cancel out. Now, I did see a lot of kids in the other period also trying to subtract it from this. You can't subtract those. They're not like terms. Also, that wouldn't make sense. You're just subtracting it to get it to go away, right? But if you do it to one side of the equal sign, you have to do it to the other side of the equal sign. Now I'm just going to rewrite what I have left over. I've got negative 3x equals 2 minus 5. Signs are different, so we subtract. 5 take away 2 is 3. Who's the bigger number? Negative 5, so we're going to keep the negative, okay? Now, I have to get x by itself. So step 1, we subtracted 5. Step 2, we're going to divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Why are we dividing? Well, because right now it's being multiplied to negative 3. The opposite of being multiplied is to divide, okay? Negative 3 over negative 3, that's one whole. So it's gone. Negative 3 over negative 3, we just said that's one whole. So my answer is positive 1. Let's do another example in the same box. I'm going to erase my work from the last period. We have got 2x plus 12 equals negative 4. Okay. Now, same thing that we just did over here. We have to get rid of the addition problem first. Order of operations usually says multiplication, division, but now we're going to do the addition and subtraction first. So to get negative 12 to go away, we would subtract 12 from both sides. I'm left with 2x on one side. 4 and negative 12 signs are different, so we subtract. 12 take away 4, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And it's going to be negative because the bigger number is 12 and it happens to be negative. That was only step 1. Step 2, we still have to get x by itself. What's happening to x? It's being multiplied by 2. So the opposite of that is 2. Divide by 2. 2 over 2 is 1 whole. It cancels out. It's gone. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4, and that's my answer. Two-steps equations are not that hard. You just have a little bit of extra math to do. Let's go to the next example box. All right, like I said, let me erase my work from the time before. I'm just going to totally erase this box, actually. And erase all of this. Okay, so while I'm erasing things, you can go ahead and write down these equations. Okay, over here, I'll just rewrite that. X minus 8, sorry, x divided by 8 minus half equals negative 7 halves. Now the first thing I've got to do is not my division problem. I have to get rid of the subtraction problem because reverse order of operations says subtraction would come before division. How do I get rid of minus half? Well, the opposite of that would be to add 1/2 to both sides of the equation. Negative half plus half is nothing, it's 0, so it's gone. I'm left with x divided by 8. Negative 7 halves plus 1/2. They were so nice to us and they gave us common denominators already, which means I can just look and say signs are different, so I subtract. 7 take away 1 is 6. Keep the denominator. Who's the bigger number? 7, so we're going to keep the negative. Okay. Now, you can leave this as negative 6 halves, or you could change it to 3. I think I'm going to change it to negative 3 right now. So this is actually going to be x over 8 equals negative 3. Now, how do I get x by itself? Well, first, I have to do the opposite of what's happening to it. It is being divided by 8, so the opposite would be to multiply by 8. Okay? X equals, what's negative 3 times 8? Negative 24. And that's your answer. All right, let's go do this one over here. Negative z over 3 plus 5 equals 9. Remember, I have to get rid of the addition and subtraction before I can go do the multiplication and division. The opposite of add 5 is to subtract 5, so subtract 5 from both sides. Negative z over 3 equals 9 minus 5, that's just a normal subtraction problem, that's just 4. Now, this problem right here is very similar to the problem I had you do yesterday. I'm going to go back to the note from yesterday. Yesterday we looked at this, and I said be careful to give the negative to the number, not the variable. We talked about why. If you gave that negative to the variable and you just multiplied by positive 4 to both sides, you'd still have a negative variable to get rid of, right? So instead, give the negative to the variable, or sorry, to the number, so that you can get rid of the negative through multiplication, okay? So that was from yesterday. Today we can apply it here. Instead of saying that's negative z, I could also say that that's positive z and give the negative to the 3, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my eraser, give the negative to the 3. Okay? How do I get z by itself? Multiply by negative 3 to both sides, because that's the opposite of division. Those would cancel out, so I'm just left with z. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. All right, so as you can see, these two equations were kind of similar. These two equations were sort of similar. Down here, we've got some more equations that are similar but different from all the others. I'm going to go ahead and erase this little box. Erase my work from the last period. You guys can write these equations down as I erase the work. Okay. Write this one down. 3y minus 8y equals 25. What do you notice about this equation that's different than the ones we've done before? Well, what most kids see is that there's two variables. Luckily, they're the same variable, which means we can add them. They're like terms, right? So over here off to the side, I want you to write combine like terms. Combine the like terms first. So step number 1 is to combine like terms. Step number 2 will be to get the number away from y, okay? Now remember, these are terms. The term is 3y. The other term is negative 8y. Signs are different, so we would subtract. What's 8? Take away 3. 5. Who's the bigger number? 8. So 8 happens to be negative, so it's going to be negative 5y equals 25. Now here's step number 2. Get the y by itself. It's being multiplied by negative 5, so the opposite of that would be to divide by negative 5. 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 5 would get you positive 25. Okay? Now this one. This one's kind of funny. We've been talking about 2-step equations this whole time. Technically, this one's going to be like a 3-step equation. Do you see like terms? I see 4 and 3. Do not think that we are subtracting 4 from 3 to combine like terms. This is not 4 minus 3. That minus sign goes to the 2y, not the 4. This is 4 plus 3. So go ahead and combine those. 4 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I've got 7, and then bring down the extra stuff we haven't used. We haven't used this, so bring it down. 7 minus 2y equals negative 9. Now, this is the next step, step number 2. I can't get rid of the times negative 2 first. I have to get rid of the 7. Because order of operations reversed would say to get rid of the 7 first, not the multiplication problem. So this is positive 7. What's the opposite of positive 7? Minus 7. Those would cancel out. I got negative 2y equals, now signs are the same over here. 7 and 9 is 16. Keep the negative. Okay. Now, how do I get y by itself? Divide by negative 2. It's kind of like a 3-step equation. First, we combine like terms. Then we got rid of the minus 7. Then we divided. Negative 16 divided by negative 2 is positive 8. All right, so I know that that was a very fast version of this lesson. Remember, you can rewatch this, you can pause it, you can ask questions. But after you have these notes done and taken, here's what I need you to do. Go grab a check-in paper. They're in the first column of that shelf towards the bottom. A check-in paper, guys. That's like the note cards, right? That we did check-ins on. Grab a check-in, and here's the number that you're going to do. It's out of your book, or you can just pause this video. You are doing number 14 on page 106. Let me grab oh wait, no, sorry, not 106. We're going back to lesson 3.5. Okay, number 14 on page 112. This is your check-in question. So this is how I know that you watched my video. You actually are doing the problem, and I can tell if you watched the whole thing. So what I need you to do when you grab your check-in, I'm going to grab a pretend check-in like this, right? You're going to write 3.5 at the top. You're also going to write your name. And here's your check-in. It's 11 equals negative 5x minus 2. I need you to solve for x. Remember, do the opposite of the order of operations. Get rid of this before you get rid of this, okay? Instead of minusing 2, you're going to add 2 to both sides. And then I'm going to stop there and let you guys kind of figure it out yourself. I will give you a little hint. Your answer should be a fraction. So you'll get this like crazy fraction that's like improper. Go ahead and just make it into a mixed number, okay? All right, guys. Good luck.